Hey, welcome back to Crane Collective. My name is Caitlin, and today we are doing something super duper special, very creative, and really fun. So today, I am going to make a handbag out of gummy bears. It was challenging, super challenging. And throughout this video, you will absolutely see all of the obstacles I had to go through to get this purse done. But it's finished, and I'm also going to show you the finished product towards the end of the video, so please check that out. It's super duper cool. Before we jump into the video though, I have a sneak peek of me on the day of the photo shoot when we were photographing the handbag with a matching outfit. I have a secret to tell you, but don't tell nobody I told you, okay? All right. Now, if you're still here, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you stay in tune with everything we have going on. We love dropping these types of videos, creative, fun, technical videos that haven't been done before. So hopefully I will see you around, and let's get into it. Baby, it's the day of the photo shoot. And you already know who I got on the camera. My mother dearest, Miss Cunningham. We love Mama Dearest, but we already hit one location, but we shot at 3 different spots. So hopefully they look kind of different, right? Gummy bear earrings, boom, bam, thank you, ma'am, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And Kaylin on the frontal. Oh my goodness, let me tell you a little secret. The frontal is coming up on the side because it's so hot. But that's all right. Want to know why? Because I love you. I love you. And the pictures, they have to be right and tight for you, dog. So currently I'm in a car. And we are on our way to the last spot. We are hitting Belle Al, honey. Belal, honey. Belal. But no, we about to hit Belle Al, last spot. Hopefully, I love Belle Al. If I don't love Belle Al, then we're going to go back down to the DIA. The DIA, you know, it's just one of those spots that I feel like my page surrounds itself when it comes to the brand image. So, let's do it, man. Now, I hope you enjoyed that little uncut scene from the photo shoot. But now, let's get into creating this bag. I'm excited to do it with you and instruct you on how. Let's get started. So it's some items that you need when creating this bag if you want to replicate it. And of course, your equipment to record it, because I definitely want to see it, you know? So make sure you have your camera, your tripod, your lights, and also a background of some sort. Right now, I'm using a poster board from the Dollar Tree. It cost $1 and boom. Or I think they cost 79 cents for the color and then 50 cents for the white. Enjoy that little nugget of wisdom. So first, I need you to separate all of the gummy bears. I did that off screen, so that's why you see all the bags around. But after you separate it, then you're gonna have to melt them. So I put about 26 gummy bears in the glass measuring cup to then put in the microwave. Once I put them in the microwave, I put the timer on 20 seconds. Then after that, I opened up the door to the microwave, took it out, and I stirred. It's not going to be completely liquefied, so I put it back in for another 20 seconds, took it out, stirred it around, and I would stir it around, and then that would have made it the perfect consistency. It's very liquefied and it's super hot, so make sure you have an oven mitt or a little mitt coaster. That's what I was using to handle that glass measuring cup, and make sure you get a glass one. It's easier to clean and it's just nice to look at, you know. Now, after it's all melted, you can pour it in your pan. And then after you pour it in your pan, you can spread it out. So I started spreading in a different type of way. I was really considering the design when it came to me spreading out the different colors. And I separated my colors simply because I wanted my bag to be multicolored and not just one solid color. I wanted multicolored simply because I feel like it's more interesting to look at. I was thinking about just consolidating all of the reddish, warmish colored gummy bears and seeing what color it made. But I think this was a little bit more interesting when taking pictures with it, and it just made it a little bit more fun. So keep repeating that process with every color. That's just going to defeat the purpose when it comes to you designing what that piece of gummy will look like. So after everything is poured out, cover it up with some foil and just keep it going. Now, I only did the second large baking sheet because I messed up the design. So at first I considered a design that didn't really work. Well, I'll tell that story in a minute. So now, as you can see, I'm working on the first gummy baking sheet. All of the things that you'll need to create this purse will be in the description box. So please check that out. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Kren Collective, Kren Collective. Now, I considered the colors when designing this gummy baking sheet. I wanted to make sure some complementary colors were right by each other. Now, blue and orange, they're complementary colors, so I wanted to put them right next to each other. But I didn't want green to be right next to red, because sometimes green and red reminds me of Christmas, and I don't want that to happen. So I put the green on the side of the orange, and it worked out because I got to put the purple right next to the red, and then the yellow right next to the purple, and yellow and purple are complementary colors as well. So I have two sets of complementary colors right next to each other, which is fabulous, honey. I created the yellow, and as you can see, I put the yellow, of course, by the purple, but then I put the yellow on top of the green just to enhance that green color, because I did feel like it was a little too see-through, a little too white, right? I wanted it to be a little golden, since it is right by the orange, right? So now let's cover it up with some foil, and boom, right? I made the biggest mistake. I pressed it down, right? And of course it wasn't dry yet, so I had to melt more gummy and put it on top, because a lot of the gummy bear was on the foil. So I melted the clear gummies, like the pineapple flavor gummies, and put a layer of that on top of. I put that in the refrigerator without foil on it, so it had time to dry and settle before I put that foil over it. Now, this is the first square sheet that I did. So I poured 3 square gummy sheets. This was the first one before I knew what I was doing. Now, I poured this one, and I tried pulling it out of the pan with it being super gummy on both sides. And I definitely found out that it's really hard to do that. So I decided to take gloss that I bought from Michael's, a spray gloss that you usually spray on furniture that you paint and you finish and things like that. I decided to purchase that, and I sprayed that on one side of the gummy sheet. Now, to prepare the pans for that spray, because the spray doesn't come off with like water, I put tape all around the edges of the pan just so I can save my pan. And I also put a grocery bag underneath to protect the underneath of the pan. Boom, and then you spray it. But make sure when you spray it outside or a place that's very ventilated. And make sure, if you do go outside, I went outside to spray, and I sprayed it on the grass. Do not spray it on your concrete, okay? It's really hard to replace concrete, but grass grows every day. Now, make sure you do that with your smaller gummy pans. After you spray them outside, let them sit outside for a little bit, but not too long. So right now in Detroit, it's summer, and it's pretty hot outside. Being that it's hot, the gummy pans might melt. So the process goes, after you pour the gummy, make sure you put it in the refrigerator for 5 hours, 4 hours. It could be all night. But then after that, take it out the refrigerator, go outside, protect your pans, spread the gummy spread in the pan, and then do not put that back in your refrigerator. It's going to smell like really, really harsh chemical. So let it sit I let mine sit in my basement and I let it sit there overnight, and then that gives it time to dry, one, and then also time for the gummy to harden. And of course the sun warms up the gummy, and then the light warms up the gummy as well. Even the light from your equipment when recording will warm up the gummy. So keep that in mind when handling the gummy and creating that bag underneath the light. The next day, after everything is dry, you can then take off all of the protection that you put on the baking sheet and get prepared to take the gummy out. So I always start it in the corner, and then sometimes you need like a plastic utensil to lift up the edge. Now this is a part that's going to take a minute. I sped it up in the video, so it's going by really quickly. So the large gummy pans took me about 30 minutes to pull the gummy out of the pan, and this smaller one took me around 5 minutes to take out of the pan. So the smaller was definitely easier. And the thicker you make the gummy, the better. This big pan that you see, when I poured the gummy bears in here, I didn't make it as thick as I should have. The smaller pan that you saw previously, that has thicker gummy in it. That's one of the big reasons why it was easier to pull it out the pan. So now I'm pulling the bigger one out of the pan, and of course it's taking a little bit more power, right? A little bit more power. And I decided to get some parchment paper because the more you pull it off, the stickier the back is going to be. So to make it less sticky, because that is what makes this purse challenging when creating, is that the material that you're using is super duper sticky, like really, really sticky. It sticks to everything, really, but parchment paper. It sticks to foil, it sticks to grocery bag, it just sticks to everything. So make sure you have that parchment paper. So now I'm trying to decide on how big I want the bottom of the bag to be. So I split a piece of copy paper in half horizontally, and now I'm using the messed up gummy piece for the bottom of the bag. But of course, as you can see, my copy paper sheet is a rectangle and the gummy is a square. Now I have to make the square a rectangle. So I decided to cover it in foil just so I can cut through it easy, not have to deal with the gummy, the sticky, it's sticking everywhere, sticking to my hands. You're using your hands to create the bag. So it's kind of like, let go, like, let me go, please. Like, what's really going on? But the gummy cannot hear you. It can't hear you, so, hey. But I'm using the foil as a base. So the bottom is done, and as you can see, my first design idea was terrible, and this is what you're going to see right now. So I decided to cut the gummy sheet in strips and then put the strips alongside of the gummy base. Now the strips, I thought, was going to make a really cool design. And of course it was going to, mix the colors, blend the colors, but of course make it like interesting to look at. So all of that was in my mind. And of course, as a designer, we think about things and then we implement them. And they just don't go as planned. So as I'm creating this, I'm creating problems at the same time. So as you can see, the wall that I'm trying to create for the purse is drooping over alongside with the other wall that's drooping over. So now I'm thinking, okay, Kaylin, how in the world can you solve this problem? Like, if the base of the bag, the foundation of the bag is droopy, then the whole purse is going to look like that. And you do not want it to look like that, okay? So I decided to grab some sticks. Now these sticks, these are like cuticle wooden sticks you use to push back your cuticles, but one side is super sharp. So I stuck that into the gummy. Then I just started using that as some type of stability when it comes to creating this gummy bag. You know, I'm thinking, okay, the sticks will help it not move, right? Similar to cake makers. One of my favorites, her name is Yolanda Gamp. She has How to Cake It, a YouTube channel here on YouTube. And she used dowels for cakes so they don't, fall over. It just adds stability. So I was thinking, ooh, I could do that for the gummy bear bag, right? So boom. Then I started creating it, going higher and higher and higher just to see what the corners were going to do, what I needed to do, if this was a doable idea, right? I didn't want to create the whole bag and use hours and hours and hours of my time and it not work in the end. Because this process is a super lengthy process. When I uploaded all of the footage for the bag, all of my footage equaled out to about 8 hours. And I'm a little upset because some of the footage was lost. So add on a couple more hours, right? So it's a lengthy process. Be patient, take your time. Now, of course, it just wasn't working. It wasn't working, and I decided to use some water to alleviate the stickiness. And of course, I tried to use some alcohol to alleviate the stickiness as well. Now, the alcohol worked way better, but I wanted to, save some of my alcohol when it came to the usage of it. Because, hey, it's still kind of Corona, so I need my alcohol. So I started using water, but water kind of is gummy bears' worst enemy, really. So just take that into consideration. Use a little bit of water, not a lot of water. Now, I decided to scrap the whole idea, take it apart, take all the strips off. But I did want to use the base strips because I felt like the side that I'm creating right now will stick better to that versus the foil. And I wanted to keep the foil there to help with that stickiness. Although next time I'm going to use parchment. So one of the gummy sheets I cut in a triangle and I used as one side of the gummy bear bag. I came up with this design just because the other design was horrible. It didn't work. It didn't work. So I decided to come up with this, and I wanted to create it like a more traditional bag, right? One side at a time, one seam at a time. Now, this side of the gummy bear bag was just a little too short, so I started piecing together some gummy sheets. Because truthfully speaking, this process took me about 2 weeks to do, about 2 weeks. And I believe I worked on it Monday through Friday every day. Of course, integrating some things that I had to do. But it takes a long time to pour the gummy, let the gummy sit, make sure it's hard, right? Spray that stuff on there and then wait a couple more hours for it to dry. So I just definitely wanted to utilize all of my gummy sheets, every single piece of it. So right now I'm putting on the front of the purse, and it is sticky. And as I said before, next time I'm gonna make sure that the big sheets are thicker, right? Thicker so they don't fall over. One of my sides, as you can see, the right side, it's really thick and it's not really collapsing or anything like that. It's standing strong, So I'm gonna make sure I do that with the front of the bag as well, because the front of the bag, you know, it's important. Now, every time it falls down, it sticks to something, right? So I just tried to protect that when it was falling down. That I needed to pour another gummy pan. So I poured that pan. I repeated the whole process from the beginning. And this is what I came up with. Now I'm putting it off the pan. Okay, so I decided to use water to help pull the gummy bear out of the baking pan. I didn't have a lot of parchment paper, so I had to do what I had to do with what I had, okay? And that might be a proverb for some of you, because you don't need millions of dollars. You don't need tons of things to make some stuff, right? Make some things interesting or create things. Like, you have enough. You have enough. Do what you can with what you have, and it will be appreciated. I definitely know that. Be patient, because the more force you use, you can rip the gummy bear. So it's literally tap, 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 tap. Boom. What Sweetie say? Tap, tap. When creating the bag, I saw that I needed some type of stability, especially at the bottom if I was going to carry it around to take pictures. So I decided to cut a piece of cardboard the same size as the bottom. Now, don't use a plate and don't use garbage bag. Use parchment paper, because gummy bear sticks to grocery bags horribly. I'm going to put in the cardboard bottom, baby. As you can see, it's a little bit too big. And I didn't know that until I was trying to put everything together. So I had to take stuff apart to cut down the board. So what I want you to do is cut the board, okay? Cut the board probably a half an inch smaller on each side before you put it in the bag. Now the top is not standing up how I need it to stand up, honey. It's not. And I'm trying to create this bag and it just wasn't working out. It wasn't working out. And I was so upset. Like, yo, it was taking me hours and days to do this, right? And I really wanted to release the bag probably in a week, right? I gave myself a timeline for a week. And the week was up, girl. It was up and done for. And I'm just like, yo, I'm taking too long with this, right? But that's only because, you know, it was my first time and it's no written rules on how to make a gummy bear bag. So, boom, I had to be gentle with myself, right? So I decided to put some garbage bags in the gummy bear bag to give it some shape. Now this is when the struggle bus came in. Because I used water to get the gummy out of that baking sheet, water is gummy bear's worst enemy. So the gummy bear started to disintegrate, and since it was so thin, it broke really easy. So the back of the bag had a big hole in it while I was trying to create the bag. So I decided to, what can I do to make some more structure? So I decided to cut another piece of cardboard and make it, I guess, the top of the bag. And after I did that, everything was pretty solid. Like, I was kind of happy because now the bag was standing up. It wasn't falling down, getting on my nerves. Okay, let's just be truthful. So now I am fixing the back of the gummy bag, and I had a bag of scraps from the first design. And I'm just using those strips to lay them perpendicular to the hole just to add some stability when it comes to the back of the bag. Once I put it on the purse, it has to be durable. It has to. Has to. So now I'm thinking we have to stick the back of the bag to the front and also the sides. So I started thinking the gummy bear, it is really sticky, but I was thinking that might not be sticky enough. So I bought some piping jelly to stick the gummy sides, only because Yolanda Gamp, she uses piping jelly to stick fondant together. So I was thinking, okay, Caitlin, you can use piping jelly to stick gummy bear together. And oh, buddy, was that a bad idea. It was a bad idea. It was the worst idea ever, man. It felt like it just made it like smooth. It made the gummy bear like smooth. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, it really didn't make it sticky, right? It was more sticky without the piping jelly. So just don't use the piping jelly. Please don't go buy the piping jelly, like, at all. Please. And since it's gummy, it will stick to those grocery bags. So keep that in mind when assembling the bag. Now we're coming up to the end. I made sure that the back of the bag was a little taller than the front so I can pull it over and make like a flap right in the front of the bag. Now, as you can see, the bottom of the bag is coming apart, the back. That's where I use the piping jelly. Bad idea. Bad idea. So right now, the stick dowels, they are coming through the bag. So I had to put some type of protection on them so they don't come all the way through the bag. So next time, I'm going to make sure that the gummy front and back is higher than the wooden sticks. But right now, I'm just trying to cut down the wooden sticks, make sure that the end isn't pointy. I felt like the pointier it is, the quicker it will go through the bag. And then on the red side, I just snipped it from the top. At this point, I see that the front of the bag has a hole in it. Boom, you see it. So I decided to use I think it's called a cigarette lighter, but I decided to use my handy dandy fire gun to warm that spot up and make sure that hole is closed. Boom. And that worked. I was happy because it worked. And I also did that for the back as well a little bit. Although I did make it more durable with the little pieces, but I just wanted to make it a little bit more perfect for you, child. So now I'm closing up all the seams, all of the holes that came about. And this fire gun makes it super duper sticky. And I was thinking that's a good thing because if it's really sticky, then I have time to continue to close it while it's in the refrigerator. But to speed up the process, I used a blow dryer. I made sure the blow dryer was on the cool setting, of course, high. You have to watch your hands because they are sticky and they will stay sticky. Everything that you touch will be sticky. So now we're closing the hole on the other side. And this is the side where the gummy bear is a little thicker, which I was happy about. Because the thin side would then join the thicker side, and of course the thicker side would add a little bit more stability. And you know, you just have to be really patient with this. Warm it up, you know, hold it together, it's going to come apart. Hold it together again, it's going to come apart again. Hold it together, it's going to come apart. So I decided to flip it over and deal with the foundation of the bag, because if the foundation is solid, then everything else will be okay. And I feel like that's a life lesson too. Just make sure that foundation is solid. So after I heat it up, I'm dragging my finger along the edge so I can make it sticky, sticky, sticky. And once I make it really sticky, then I stick the two portions together. Now the bottom. My bottom looks, oh child. My bottom looks very different. Very like wow, right? So next time around, I would definitely suggest that you make sure you measure that gummy out, okay? Don't just piece together pieces to create a bigger piece, because those pieces will then start coming apart and you'll get frustrated, just like I did. And as I was creating, I had to continuously fix problems with it. So that was taking a little bit longer too, but neither here nor there. So now we're done with the base of the bag, and I really wanted to put some type of hardware on it so it could look a little bit realistic, right? It doesn't just look like a pile of candy. So I decided to take the buckles off. So now I am creating the straps of the bag. I wanted to make the straps about 1.5 inches. I wanted them to be, you know, bigger, more durable. I'm using some parchment paper. Parchment paper. I'm dipping the scissors in water, and I feel like right now I might be a master at handling gummy bear. Because at the beginning of the video, it was tragic city. Putting the gummy bear on parchment on the sticky side and then putting the glossy side up will definitely ease your pain when it comes to dealing with gummy. And right now I'm creating the earrings, the gummy bear earrings you saw at the beginning of the video. And boom, you see that piece? That was, yes, I like both of them. Oh, yes, okay. Those are both of the earrings right there. And then I just set them off to the side. So now I'm connecting two of the pieces together, and I wanted to keep that yellow in the middle because I felt like it standed out. That was the only color on the bag that wasn't super duper prominent. So this is going to be really sticky. So I heated it up, put it together, put it on parchment, and I put it in the refrigerator for a little bit. And I poured another gummy sheet, as you can see. Now, this is a problem that I ran into. I used gelatin thinking that it was going to make the gummy bear stronger, you know, super like plastic, right? But it definitely did not do that. It made my job harder. But it's interesting how God works, because this was a mess up to me, but it definitely saved my life towards the end. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. But after you pull up what you can from the pan, then I used this to create the bottoms of the purse handle so I can connect the hardware to that. So I use this piece to create the bottoms of the purse handle so I can connect that to the hardware. Now I'm cutting the ends in a triangular shape because my hardware pieces are a little smaller. And I feel like, it gives it a little bit of dimension. Now I'm just testing it out. So while I was doing this, I lost the half circle pieces. So the crescent circle piece, I lost the other one. So I was upset. And I'm like, listen, like, how am I losing things right in front of me? Like, what's really going on here? Like, come on now. But thank God that the Coach bag had 2 more pieces of hardware on it. So I used the circle hardware pieces instead of the half circle pieces. But guess what? After I used the circle pieces, I found the other half circle. So I guess that was just God saying, yes, Kaylin, the circle, let's do the circle. Let's not do the half circle. Half circles aren't in, sis. They aren't. So now I'm taking a bag. I bought some parchment paper, thank God. So it made everything a little bit easier. Oh, remember when I said the piece that I left in the pan that I couldn't get out of the pan because it was so hard? I'm using that to fill in the holes at the bottom of the bag. Because with the strips, trying to piece everything together, the gummy bear kind of shrinks and creates holes. So use that to fill in the holes. Or just don't have holes. Do what I say, not as I do. I don't believe in that. But in this case, it works. So now I am trying to assemble the handles. I just took the yellow portion of the handle out of the refrigerator. So now the center of the handle, I don't have to really worry about that at all. Breaking or moving, anything like that. Sticky, sticky, sticky. So now I decided to create little latches, gummy latches really, to help that seam stay together. I cut triangular pieces and laid it perpendicular to the seam. I should have did a latch in the middle as well, because when we were out on the photo shoot day, the middle of the handle came apart because the sun was shining on it, warming it up, you know, things like that. So I should have put a little yellow latch in the middle of that, but next time. So now we are done with the handle, and all we have to do is put it on the bag. Now the purse was in the refrigerator. Definitely was in the refrigerator. So after I put the spray on, it's not super duper sticky. It's easy to handle. So the spray kind of saved my life when it came to the stickiness and the ease of use. So now, as you can see, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, Kaylin, how do you want to put on the strap? And I know that I want the strap to provide some type of stability when it comes to the bag and me holding the bag. The goal was to hold the bag in the photo shoot, but clearly I saw I wasn't able to do that. But I put it on the bottom of the bag to kind of help that seam at the bottom of the bag stay together. Now, you want to know a secret? I really wish that I made the handle a little bit longer, but I guess it worked out. I'm just warming up the back of the handle. So now I'm just tidying up the front of the bag, because the front of the bag, of course, is the most important part of the bag. And boom. Did y'all see that fall down? The handle. I thought it was gonna be way stickier than that, so I decided to make it sticky, okay? Make it sticky, put it back up on there, and of course, as I said before, you have to be patient. Cause boom, fell off again. But just all you can do is just put it back, on up, put it back on up, put it back on up. Now, right now, I melted some red gummies because there was a hole in the front, but I saw that instead of trying to close it up, I'll just add some more gummy to it, because clearly the bag basically was telling me, Kaylin, we need more room, sis. We need more room right here. You're trying to stuff us all in. We need more room right here. So, and bam, we're done. Turn up. But let me fill you in. So that wasn't the end of that, okay? But I definitely wanted to stop it there for your time. The video was already long enough. So at that point, I put it in the refrigerator and I made sure that it was hard, right? after about a day, I took it out the refrigerator and I took it outside and I sprayed some gloss on the whole bag. So the whole bag will be shining and perfect, right? I put the bag on top of a milk cart and I put another milk cart on top of that. So no squirrels, birds land on it, nothing like that. And I put a box over that outside thinking that, okay, the sun, I put the box over it, the sun won't get to it, it'll be fine. I came back to it and it was so gray. When I tell you, like, the sun and the gloss reacting, I feel like made it super duper gray. So I took it out and I was upset. I was upset. I'm like, I do not need this gray. I need it to shine, honey. I need it to look like patent leather, honey. Patent leather gummy bear. That's what I need. That's what I needed to give. Okay, patent leather gummy bear. So yeah, I took it back inside and I sprayed it in my basement. I sprayed the gloss on there again in my basement. And I found out that it only takes about an hour to dry. Thank you, God. Hello. And yeah, after that, it was a done deal. I was ready. I put it back in the refrigerator. We went to take some pictures. So I am in the car right now on my way to the last spot to take some beautiful pictures for you. If you haven't seen the pictures, please check out my our Instagram, Crank Collective. If you haven't followed it, please check it out, okay? Because I'm sweating. My frontal is sliding for those pictures, sweetie, for you, sweetie, and they are good. So okay? But hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was really, really hard to make this bag. I can't even hold you up. It was really hard, very tedious. I needed to practice some type of patience when it came to the bag. It definitely refined my patience when it came to my character, honey, my good old need for patience. It definitely enhanced that. So thank you for that. But it was really hard. But it did turn out pretty good. And I'm definitely happy with it, and I hope you guys love it. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you stay in tune with everything we have going on. I love doing these type of videos simply because they're just fun, interesting, and they make my mind in gears kind of like grind a little bit, but in the best way possible, right? In a way that need be when it comes to me as a creative. I love problem solving, and when it comes to making things out of unconventional materials, that's probably one of the hardest tasks out there. But I love completing them, and hopefully you do too. And I will be coming out with another video similar to this one. So if you like this, please hit that subscribe button. Just know I love you. My name is Kaylin. I'm the starter and the founder and the creator of this page. Just know I love you. Be great because you are great. Be you, stay true. That's somebody else's tagline. But no, just stay great. Stay great. Step into exactly who God called you to be. Stay positive. Be patient. And just know God has an abundant life for us both. And I'm excited to step into mine. And I can't wait to see you step into yours. All right? Love you. I'll talk to you soon.